There she is, yeah.
Ah, she's just joined.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This evening's reciters are dear Orpita for English translation and Vatsala Mataji for Sanskrit recitation. They'll be reading from Canto 3, Chapter 23, verses 30 to 43. Mataji, will you be able to start with the invocation 3 times, please? Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Text 30. Adadashe swam atmanam shragvinam virajambaram virajam kritaswastyayanam kanyabir bahumanitam.
Hare Krishna. Then, in a mirror, she beheld her own reflection. Her body was completely freed from all dirt, and she was adorned with a garland. Dressed in unsullied robes and decorated with auspicious marks of tilak, she was served very respectfully by the maids.
Text 31. Snatam kritashirashnanam sarvabharana bhushitam nishkagrivam valayinam kujat kanchana nupuram.
Her entire body, including her head, was completely bathed, and she was decorated all over with ornaments. She wore a special necklace with a locket. There were bangles on her wrists and tinkling anklets of gold about her ankles.
Text 32. Shranyo ratjastaya kancha kanjanya bahuratnaya harena shamaharena rishakshena shabushitam.
About her hips she wore a girdle of gold set with numerous jewels, and she was further adorned with a precious pearl necklace and auspicious substances.
Text 33. Sudata subruvash lakshna snigdapangena shakshusha patmakosha sprida nilir alakaisha lasanmukham.
Her countenance shone with beautiful teeth and charming eyebrows. Her eyes, distinguished by lovely moist corners, defeated the beauty of lotus buds. Her face was surrounded by dark curling tresses.
Text 34. Yada sasmara rishabam rishinam dayitam patim tatra chaste sahastribir yatraste sa prajapatihi.
When she thought of her great husband, the best of the sages, Kardama Muni, who was very dear to her, she, along with all the maidservants, at once appeared where he was.
Text 35. Bhartu purastat atmanam Sri Sahasra Vritam Tata Nishamya tat yoga gatim samshayam padyata. Sorry.
She was amazed to find herself surrounded by 1,000 maids in the presence of her husband and to witness his yogic power.
Text 36 to 37. Satam kritamala snanam vibrajantim apurvavat atmano bipratim rupam samvita ruchirastanim Vidyadari sahasrena sevyamanam suvasasam jata bhavo vimanam tat arogyadamitrahan.
The sage could see that Devahoti had washed herself clean and was shining forth as though no longer his former wife. She had regained her own original beauty as the daughter of a prince. Dressed in excellent robes, her charming breasts duly girded, she waited upon by 1,000 Gandharva girls. O destroyer of the enemy, his fondness of her grew, and he placed her on the aerial mansion.
Text 38. Tashminna lupta mahima priyanurakto vidyadari bir upachina vapur vimane Tapraja utkacha kumud kanavana peaches tara biravrita evot patina bastaha.
Though seemingly attached to his beloved consort, well served by the Gandharva girls, the sage did not lose his glory, which was mastery over himself. In the aerial mansion, Kardama Muni with his consort shone as charmingly as the moon in the midst of the stars in the sky, which causes rows of lilies to open in ponds at night.
Text 39. Tenashtaloka pavihara kula chalendra Dronishvananga shakamaruta saubagashu Siddhenu todyudunipata shivaswa nasu Preme shiramdana tavala lanavaruthi.
In that aerial mansion, he travelled to the pleasure valleys of Mount Meru, which were rendered all the more beautiful by cool, gentle, fragrant breezes that stimulated passion. In these valleys, the treasurer of the gods, Kaurava, surrounded by beautiful women and praised by the Siddhas, generally enjoys pleasure. Kardama Muni also, surrounded by the beautiful damsels and his wife, went there and enjoyed for many, many years.
Text 40. Vaishrambake Shurasene Nandane Pushpabhatrake Manase Shaitraratye Sarame Ramaya Rataha.
Satisfied by his wife, he enjoyed in that aerial mansion, not only on Mount Meru, but in different gardens known as Vaisrambaka, Surasana, Nandana, Pushpabhadraka, and Chaitrayatya, and by the Manasa Sarovara lake.
Text 41. Brajeshuna Vimanena Kamagena Mahiyasa Vaimanikan Atyasheta Sharalokan Yatanilaha.
He travelled in that way through the various planets, as the air passes uncontrolled in every direction. Coursing through the air in that great and splendid aerial mansion, which could fly at his will, he surpassed even the demigods.
Text 42. Kim Durapadanam Tesham Pumsam Uddama Shetasam Yairashritastita Pada Sharano Vyasa Natyayaha.
What is difficult to achieve for determined men who have taken refuge of the personality of Godhead's lotus feet. His feet are the source of sacred rivers like the Ganges, which puts an end to the dangers of mundane life.
Text 43. Prekshayitva bhuvo golam patnyayavan swasamstaya bhafacharya mahayuhi swasramaya nivartata.
After showering his wife, the globe of the universe and its different arrangements, full of many wonders, the great yogi Kardama Muni returned to his own hermitage.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for reciting beautifully in Sanskrit and for doing the translations also. Thank you. So we will start today's session with some prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I will share my screen. Just a minute. Can you see?
Yes, Mataji, we can. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet shrunavatam svakatha krishna punya shravana kirtana hridenta sthoya bhadrani vidhunoti surasatam nashtaprayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatam Maham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much. So today we are going to recite chapter 23, Devuti's Lamentation, which we are doing from last few weeks, and which is part of Canto 3. And we've already read about Kardama Muni and Devuti's marriage, how they met, how was it proposed, and now they've come together. Now Devuti is serving her husband, Kardama Muni. So today's verses are 38 to 43. Yeah. So I'll recite it once more. Tasmin alupta mahima priyayanurakto vidyadharibhe upachirna vapurvimane papraja utkacha kumud gunavan apichas tarabhir avtra avodupatir nibhastaha. Translation. Though seemingly attached to his beloved consort while served by the Gandharva's girls, the sage did not lose his glory, which was mastery over his self. In the aerial mansion, Kardama Muni with his consort shone as charmingly as the moon in the midst of the stars in the sky, which causes rows of lilies to open in pond at night. Would anyone like to read the purport?
I can read, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. The mention was in the sky, and therefore the comparison to the full moon and stars is very beautifully composed in this verse. Kardama Muni looked like the full moon, and the girls who surrounded his wife Devahuti seemed just like the stars. On a full moon night, the stars and the moon together form a beautiful constellation. Similarly, in that aerial mansion in the sky, Kardama Muni, with his beautiful wife and the damsels surrounding them, appeared like the moon and stars on a full moon night. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. तेनास्तलोकपविहारकुलाचलेन्द्र द्रोणीष्वानङ्गसख मारुत सौभागसु सिद्धैर्नुतोद्युधनुपात शिवस्वन्नौसु रेमे चिरं धन्दवल् ललना वरुथि. Translation. In that aerial mansion, he traveled to the pleasure valleys of Mount Meru, which were rendered all the more beautiful by cool, gentle, fragrant breezes that stimulated passion. In these valleys, the treasurer of the gods, Kuver, surrounded by beautiful women and praised by the Siddhas, generally enjoys pleasure. Kardama Muni, also surrounded by beautiful damsels and his wife, went there and enjoyed for many, many years. Anyone wants to read the purport?
Hare Krishna Mataji, can I read please?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Thank you. Kuvera is one of the 8 demigods who are in charge of different directions of the universe. It is said that Indra is in charge of the eastern side of the universe, where the heavenly planet or paradise is situated. Similarly, Agni is in charge of the southeastern portion of the universe. Yama, the demigod, punishes sinners, is in charge of the southern portion. Nirti is in charge of the southwestern part of the universe. Varuna, the demigod, is in charge of the waters, is in charge of the western portion. Vayu, who controls the air and who has wings to travel in the air, is in charge of the northwestern part of the universe. And Kuvera, the treasurer of the demigods, is in charge of the northern part of the universe. All these demigods take pleasure in the valleys of the Mount Meru, which is situated somewhere between the sun and the earth. In the aerial mansion, Kardama Muni traveled throughout the 8 directions controlled by the different demigods described above. And as the demigods go to Mount Meru, he also went there to enjoy life. When one is surrounded by beautiful young girls, sex stimulation naturally becomes prominent. Kardama Muni was sexually stimulated and he enjoyed his wife for many, many years in that part of Mount Meru. But his sex indulgence was praised by many, many Siddhas, beings who had attained perfection, because it was intended to produce good progeny for the good of universal affairs. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. 3.23.40. वैश्वरम्भे सुरासेन नन्दने पुष्पभद्रके मानसे चित्ररथ्ये च सरे मे रामया रतः. Satisfied by his wife, he enjoyed in that aerial mansion not only on Mount Meru but in different gardens known as Vaishvarambhaka, Surasana, Nandana, Pushpabhadraka and Chitrarathya, and by the Manasa Sarovar lake. प्रजिष्णुना विमानेन कामगेन महीयसा विमानिकान् अत्यस्त करल्लोकान् यथानिलः. Translation. He traveled in that way through the various planets as the air passes uncontrolled in every direction. Coursing through the air in that great and splendid aerial mansion, which could fly at his will, he surpassed even the demigods. Anyone for the purport?
Shall I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. The planets occupied by the demigods are restricted to their own orbits, but Gandharva Muni, by his yogic power, could travel all over the different directions of the universe without restriction. The living entities who are within the universe are called conditional souls. That is, they are not free to move and everywhere. We are inhabitants of this earthly globe. We cannot move freely to other planets. In the modern age, man is trying to go to the other planets, but so far he has been unsuccessful. It is not possible to travel to any other planet because, by the law of nature, even the demigods cannot move from one planet to another. But Kardama Muni, by his yogic power, could surpass the old strength of the demigods and travel in the space in all directions. The comparison here is very suitable. The words Yatha Anila indicate that as the air is free to move anywhere without restriction, so Kardama Muni unrestrictedly travel in all directions of the universe. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. 3.23.42.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, sorry to interrupt. The
Yes.
discussion verses are up to 41 only today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay. So let's go back 38 to 41. Hare Krishna. So we've done the verses. I'll just do quick prayers and then we will discuss. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छ कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशे तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Thank you, Mataji. So, Mataji, was it 31, right? 31 to
The discussion
38.
verses are 38 to 41.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. 38 here. So yes, until now, what has happened in the previous verses also, I just let quickly go through it. It's very nice story and pastime. So if we look at here in 11th verse, Devahuti is saying to her husband that kindly make the arrangement so that she can. She had become very skinny, so she asked to kindly make arrangement according to the scriptures. So that she can she can be fit for him, and then she can her desire to have a children can also be fulfilled. Sorry, excuse me. So she said very sweetly, also my lord, please think of a suitable house for this purpose. So obviously, if we this is how the material life is also compared to when we just each one of us knows that when we have little desire, like in the childhood, we want to grow, we want to go, we want to learn, we want to go to school, then we want a job. The desire keep on growing. After we get a job, now we think about the next step. What is the next step? Okay, I'm stable now, let me get married, find a suitable partner. Once we get a suitable partner, then the next thing is that we have to get our own children. But to feed the children, we need a house, we need proper arrangement for that settlement. So in the same way, it is seen in this verse also that she's asking that now I want children, and I want to become fit first. She was not fit enough to beget children at the time, because she was doing so much of seva of her husband that she became very skinny. And Kardama Muni could see that, and he felt very, very compassionate for her, and compassionate for her, that you've done so much of tapasya, so much of service, that look, your health and your body has lost all the luster. So now she's asking, because he's saying that whatever you don't have to do anything, whatever you've done my service, so I will give you the result, fruits of my actions. You will also get whatever husband does, the wife gets 50% of that. So here we can see that he's asking her, what do you want? And then she's saying that, as per the scriptures, make proper arrangement so that we can have children, and for children we also need space, we also need a house for that purpose. And so then Maitra Muni is saying that, O Vidura, seeking to please his beloved wife, the sage Kardama exercised his yogic power and instantly produced an aerial mansion. So because in order to fulfill that desire of the wife, who was very, very dutiful and devoted to the husband, he actually used his yogic power. He was very powerful yogically. He was a mystic yogi. He was very powerful. Also a devotee. Devotee is the best yogi. So he could, with his power, yogic power, he could create and manifest that great mansion, where a very beautiful castle and place, where it's beautifully explained in the next verses how beautiful trees, birds, and beautiful flowers, and clothes of silk, different colors, very colorful palace and beautiful palace with jewels, pearls and pillars, precious stones. They were all in that palace, and that was a very, very beautiful, attractive palace that he created from his Vedic, from his yogic power. We can see the castle was fully equipped with necessary paraphernalia. Everything was there that the human being desire of, like we think about the heavens. So it was just like that, very charming and glowing. The palace looked charming with beds, couches, fans, seats, all separately arranged in 7 stories, and a very big palace. So that is how the palace looked like. Very beautiful palace with coral thresholds at the entrance, and its door bedecked with diamonds. So it is explained beautifully, like how beautiful that palace was. Each and everything is explained. The choice of rubies set in its diamond walls, like how the walls were, how the tiles were. The choice was perfect, out of the world. And that it caught even Kardama Muni at once. When he looked at the palace, he was surprised that he created that. It was so beautiful that he couldn't understand. He couldn't believe, after looking at the creation, how it was created. The castle had pleasure grounds, resting chambers, bedrooms, inner outer yards, designed with an eye of comfort. So this all caused astonishment to the sage himself. He was astonished to see that. When he saw Devoti looking at the gigantic opulence. Now Devoti was looking at that, but she was actually feeling something else. There was something else going on in her mind. And probably it was her body, because the body was very skinny also. So he could see, Kardama Muni had the special power. He was very, very special soul, very special devotee. He had a lot of mystic powers. So he created this mansion, or he could also study the heart of anyone. So he could study anyone's heart. He could know what is the desire, what is going on in this person's heart. So he could read he could know what his wife was thinking about. And he then addressed, my dear Devhuti, you look very much afraid. First bathe in Lake Bindu Sarovar. So because he knew that Devhuti is worried about her body because it's not fit. So then he's asking her to take a bath in Bindu Sarovar. Bindu Sarovar, if you don't know, Bindu Sarovar is a lake which is still present in India, in part of Gujarat, where river Saraswati flows. And what happened is that Kardama Muni was doing tapasya, penances, severe penances for 10,000 years to have darshan of the Lord. And he was doing it with so much devotion, and spent so much time, dedicated it to lovingly to the Lord, that Lord appeared in front of him finally and gave him darshan. But because Lord is a Bhakta Vatsala, and he becomes attached to the devotees also. So its reciprocation is from both sides. So he was remembering the Lord, but Lord also came and he couldn't resist, but he started having tears. The tears started rolling out of Lord's eyes. So Bindu Sarovar is actually formed from the tears of Lord Vishnu's eyes when he looked at Kardama Muni's austerities and penances devoted to him. And that's how the Sarovar was formed. Another thing happened in this lake, Bindu Sarovar, is that when later on, when we will read that Kapila Muni was born, who then gave the philosophy of Shankya philosophy about the world, samsara, and birth, that old age, and how about all that devotional purpose. He actually taught his mother on the Bindu Sarovar, at that on the uh, by the river, by the lake Bindu Sarovar. And it is said that Devahuti got her liberation at that place. So that is why at that place currently also in India, many people come for their mother's liberation, or mothers who have passed away, their ancestors have passed away, their mother has passed away, they pray for their liberation at this point. So that's something extra that we know. And it's a very nice place, nice in the sense that devotional place. We can so many pastimes have happened here in Bindu Sarovar. So obviously Kardama Muni knew about the significance of this place, Bindu Sarovar. So he asked the first take bath, and then because this is created by Lord Vishnu, so we know that when we bathe in such rivers or such lakes, obviously we get purified and we get the devotion of the Lord. So because he was asked by his husband, who was a devotee, so she did that. And he also told her that it grants all desires to human beings. And so he told her to take bath in Bindu Sarovar. So what happened? She went into followed the order of the husband, and when she went into the Sarovar, into the lake, what happened is that she saw thousands of girls. So in verse 26, she saw thousands of girls. They were damsels, and they were all youth. They were all young, and they were fragrant like lotuses. Very beautiful young girls. Thousands of girls were there. And then these girls, when they saw Devahuti, they folded their hands and they bowed down and they said, "What can we do? We are your maidservants. Tell us, what can we do for you?" That's what they said. And the girls very respectfully brought her forth and started to bathe her with valuable oils, ointments, fragrances, flowers, and cloths, and whatever there is they could use to make her look beautiful again and to bathe her body. And then they decorated her with excellent jewelries, clothes, and beautiful, and so that she looks very attractive and beautiful and shiny, and her glow comes back, which she lost over those years. So that is how they were serving her. And then in the mirror she beheld her own reflection. She saw her own reflection, and she saw that her body is now completely freed from the dust, dirt, and there's beautiful garlands around her neck, beautiful robes, and auspicious marks on her body like tilaka. And she looked like very like a beautiful princess, like she used to be before her marriage, because before her marriage she was a princess and she was very beautiful and attractive. But after the marriage, because of constant devotion and service to the husband, she she was not looking after herself. But now she's looking exactly the same like she used to look before. So after that, when she went to the husband, then the husband, Kardama Muni, he saw appeared in front of she appeared in front of Kardama Muni, and he was amazed because he could see that Devuti now looks exactly like she used to look like before the marriage, and dressed beautifully, excellently, and accompanied by the Gandharva girls, the beautiful young girls, and he was very happy. Now they both went to the mansion, the aerial mansion that Kardama Muni had created. So this mansion actually was was in the sky, it's an aerial mansion, so it was not on the ground, it was flying. So In text 38, here we come here now. Though seemingly attached to his beloved consort while served by the Gandharva girls, the sage did not lose his glory, which was mastery over his self. In the earlier mentioned, Kardama Muni with his consort shone as charmingly as the moon. So Prabhupada here says that Kardama Muni was as brilliant, as charming as the full moon. So he was charming, like he was as glowy as the full moon. And the Gandharvas, or these damsels, these beautiful young girls, they were looking like stars, and Kardama Muni was looking like a moon. So that is how the comparison is done. So we can imagine like how it would have looked like at that time, and how much devotion and mystic power and Kardama Muni had, that he was shining like a full moon, and these Gandharvas were looking like little stars. And the next word, they said that in the aerial mention, he traveled to the pleasure valleys of Mount Meru. So Mount Meru is just like a heavenly and very spiritual or very powerful place. Also Mount Meru, a lot of demigods actually come there and stay there, and actually they enjoy that place a lot. They like being there. So it is said that in these valleys, the treasurers of the gods, Kuver, surrounded by beautiful women, praised by Siddhas, generally enjoy pleasure, Mount Meru. And Kardama Muni, also surrounded by his beautiful damsels and his wife, went there and enjoyed for many, many years, because he wanted to give best to Devahuti. He wanted Devahuti to enjoy and get the fruits of the tapasya and the seva that she has done. So he wanted to give her the best. So he took her to the best places in the universe, and they went to Mount Meru also, where other gods like Kuvera were present. So it is said that very nicely Prabhupada has explained different. This is something that we won't learn anywhere else, but Prabhupada has put down in the purport that Kuver is one of the 8 demigods. So why 8 demigods? There are 8 demigods in 8 directions who are protecting and who are staying in these 8 directions in the universe. And it is mentioned here that who is in charge of which direction. And these all demigods actually come together, and they actually come and to spend some time in Mount Meru, some pleasure time, some their own time. So they usually come there, and Kardama Muni also went there. So Kardama Muni's position, we can understand that even the demigods are going there, and he's able to freely move about and freely travel in these places. So let's see, Indra is in charge of eastern side of the universe. So this is said that eastern side of universe is ruled by Indra, who is also the king of the heaven. Agni is in charge of southeastern portion of the universe. We all know that. Yamaraj is the demigod who punishes sinners. We know that. Is in charge of southern portion of the universe. So it's not just part of Jambudvipa, it's part of the universe they're talking about. So universe is very big. So Nirti is in charge of southwestern part of the universe. Varun Dev is the demigod in charge of waters, and he's in charge of western portion. Vayu is the air, life air also. Vayu, who controls the air, who has wings to travel in the air, is in charge of northwestern part of the universe. And Kuvera, the treasurer of demigods, is in charge of north part of the universe. So Prabhupada is saying that all these demigods take pleasure in the valleys of Mount Meru, which is situated somewhere between sun and the earth. So Mount Meru is still present. There is still a place where it is said that Mount Meru is above. So it's not just a place on earth or on particular spot, but it is also like somewhere around Mount Meru's area, somewhere in the air, or which we cannot see with these senses. These all demigods actually are present there, and they come and they spend time there. So Kardama Muni, along with the damsels and his wife, actually came and enjoyed there. And then, satisfied with his wife, he enjoyed in that aerial mansion not only on Mount Meru but in different gardens. So because he was not traveling alone, like he was not traveling on his own, he was traveling on the mansion, on that castle, on the palace that he created, the aerial mansion. So that aerial mansion was flying and was traveling across. So he, along with his palace, his arrangements, and his seven-storied mansion, he was actually traveling to various parts of the universe, and making sure his wife is happy and enjoying. And he was also happy. So he enjoyed in the aerial mansion not only on the Mount Meru but in different gardens like Vaishwarambaka, Surasana, Nandana, Pushpadraka, and Chitrarathya, and by the Manasa Sarovar Lake. So these are the places where he also went, because he, remember, he's going to different parts of the universe, not just one place. He traveled in that way through the various planets, as in air passes uncontrolled in every direction, coursing through the air in that great and splendid aerial mansion, which could fly at his will. He surpassed even the demigods. So why is Prabhupada saying that he even surpassed the demigods? Because even the demigods are restricted to their orbits and their planets. They cannot jump from one planet, or they cannot just go anywhere. Like Narad Muni is a Gandharva. He can he can travel anywhere. He has been given that boon. In the same way, Kardama Muni, it's very rare for someone to be able to freely travel anywhere, because we have to do a lot of tapasya, a lot of austerity, a lot of we have to gain that mystic power in order to go into a particular planet. We have to do so much tapasya to go into to get entry into the heavenly planet, also to just the heaven, or some other planets that are seven other planets that are above. But Kardama Muni, he was traveling into these very different planets on his own will. So we can imagine how much power he had, mystic power. Even Devahuti was astonished looking at the power and mystic power of her husband. She never knew, she never imagined a husband to be so much powerful. And the demigods, they don't have this permission to go travel from one planet to another. They're just given, okay, you take charge of this planet, you take charge of this planet, they cannot travel like that. But Kardama Muni could travel. Even people in modern age, Prabhupada says in the purport, in the modern age, man is trying to go to other planets, but so far he has been unsuccessful. We are also trying. We are thinking that through our own scientific knowledge, or through our own research, and through our own manpower and technology, we can invent something and we can travel different planets. But what happened? We just went there and we have to come back, because we cannot survive there. We cannot see what's that there are already species on these different planets, planet Moon, planet Mars, and there are different planets. There are already species. There are already planets given to particular demigods. So we cannot just go create our own rockets or some technological airplanes and visit these places. We will not survive, because it's not meant for these material bodies. Those conditions are different, and we need to have different kind of bodies to be able to survive there. So yeah, Prabhupada is saying that man is trying to go to other planets, but we have not been successful. We haven't found a permanent solution. There were news, and there were these rumors and many years ago that, oh, there is life in Mars. We can, after some years, by 2050, there will be life in Mars. We will go to Mars, we will build house in Mars and all. But it hasn't happened, because it won't happen like that. We have to actually be qualified spiritually to go and be inhabitants of those planets. We cannot just think about it and invent something and reside there. It's just under the Lord's will. And Kardama Muni got that permission. It is not possible to travel to any other planet, because by the laws of nature, even the demigods cannot move from one planet to another. But Kardama Muni, by his yogic power, could surpass the strength of demigods and travel the space in all directions. The comparison here is very suitable. The words yatha anilaha indicate that as the air is free to move anywhere without restriction, Kardama Muni unrestrictedly traveled in all directions of the universe. So like that, in these few verses, what's happening is that at the moment, Kardama Muni, here, if you see, Kardama Muni has created a mansion, and there are thousands of damsels who have helped Devahuti to regain her beauty. And Devahuti has now gone back to her original beautiful form that she had before. And now Kardama Muni wants her to travel and enjoy this material world and look around the beauty of the universe and just to make her more happy. Isn't this something that we are also trying to do in our own lives also? We want to travel around with our partner, we want to travel around, we want to show them around, we want to any newly married couple also, they would do the same. They would go out on different places, they will explore new places, new dishes, maybe they'll make plans for the future. We'll do this, we'll do that, let's go there, let's go to this country. And this is what's happening here. It's already there in the Shastras, where this is how the material world is, that when we really love something and when we really get attached to something, we think that this is how to make this person more happy, how to put a smile on their face, and how to make them comfortable. So that is what at the moment, to satisfy the wife, Kardama Muni is taking her around and fulfilling her desires, and he could read the desires of anyone's heart. And later on in the next verses 42 and all, which will be discussed later, it is said that Kardama Muni is praised also, that how can someone who has taken refuge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet not achieve something that they are determined? His feet is the source of sacred Ganges, which put an end to the dangers of the mundane life. So this is very possible. When we have taken shelter of the Lord, anything is possible. Something that is not possible in the material world, he can make it possible. And then we will go through it, that how after showing the globe, Kardama Muni, then after traveling around the universe with the wife and themselves, he came back to his original place from where he started, to his own hermitage. And then how as she had asked, as Devahuti had asked, that she wanted progeny, she wanted children. Then he divided himself into 9 forms, and then there were 9 daughters born. So we will come to that. And in the end, when and many years passed, went away, many years passed in the creation of the progeny also, and in spending time with each other. Many years passed away, and they didn't realize, Kardama Muni didn't realize, and Devahuti didn't realize. And finally, after the 9 daughters were born, then Kardama Muni realized that a lot of time has passed. I should go back now. I should take sannyas now. I should go back. But then Devahuti says that still, if you're going. She was not crying or anything, but she was just saying that you're going. You fulfilled your promise, but who will look after me? Because according to scriptures, it is said that a lady should always be looked after by someone, by protection. There should be protection given to the woman in every stage of the life. So now when she will become old, who will look after her if Kardama Muni goes away? So the sage then she requested that she wanted a child, a male child. And then Kardama Muni accepted that request, and then they begot Kapila. Kapil Dev was born. Lord himself came, and this whole drama was created so that Lord could come. And then Lord actually became the reason for liberation of Devahuti. He taught her about Shankya philosophy while Kardama Muni went and took sannyasa. Now the son was looking after the mother and teaching about liberation. So it is also said, and Prabhupada also said many times about this, that one should not become a mother, a father, even a daughter or a son. Any family relationship you take, if you cannot take them back to Godhead, if you cannot become a reason for their liberation, if you cannot encourage them towards liberation or towards the Lord's love towards the Lord. So so this is another example, that Lord Kapila came, and he actually was teaching the mother about Shankya philosophy and about the world, the nature of the world and the nature of life, death, old age, disease, and how what are the various forms of services and devotional service, how we can go back to Godhead. So that we will be reading in coming days and weeks, how it happened, what happened in between, and what happens when Kapil Dev was born. With that, I will stop today's session. If there are any questions, reflections, or feedback, please go ahead. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. I hope the screen share is stopped. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Bol, Mataji.
Thank you so much for the wonderful and such a thorough overview of the chapter. It was very nice.
Thank
beautifully,
you.
Beautifully explained. Thank you.
Thank you, Naina Mataji. If anything was not up to the mark or I didn't say it correctly, please forgive me. Thank you. Any reflections anyone wants to share from today's verses? What comes to their mind, or they want to reflect back in their from the previous verses, want to compare and what they have learned from this chapter till now? Any reflections? No. Okay, so maybe I was thinking of asking some questions, but
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
How he divided himself, Kardamuni, in 9 personalities. Please, can you?
Good question, Mataji. This verse will come later, and then we will read that this is because of his. No one can do that. Not everyone can do that. Even demigods can't do that. But he was a special devotee with his. Imagine, Mataji, if he can make Lord cry.
Yes.
What could be his devotion? I mean, how powerful he would be. Full his devotion must have been. So these such devotees, they actually look very simple, very humble, and by looking at them we can't tell how much powerful they are, because there is no body and there's no, it's not like masculine kind of person that we will look at the power, but the mystic power is given by the Lord. So because Lord was so pleased, he was given those powers, so he could divide himself into 9 through his mystic power. He could actually, he had that power, he was given that boon, he could divide himself into 9 personalities,
9
and 9 bodies.
Yeah.
And that's how they had like 9 daughters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone wants to add something?
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Krishna.
Any other answers to this? It's there in the verse. Let me tell you. Kardama Muni. So we stopped at 41. Just looking at the verse where it is said that he divided himself. But yeah, it will come, Mataji, and I think then you can ask the Prabhu or Mataji who's giving the class to elaborate it more. But
okay,
this
Mataji.
is how it is.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. What's your name, Mataji?
Kanta.
Thank you, Kanta Mataji. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Any other thoughts, questions, reflections? Thank you. Prabhupada just wanted to say that Prabhupada mentioned at various places that Kardama Muni was not an ordinary, we should not take him as an ordinary person or someone who's materialistic. No, he was actually following the process, the instruction of procreation, so that he could create this, so many, so he could create population. He could, otherwise we wouldn't have been here. Because of these saintly people were given, and the devotees were given instructions for procreation, for spreading population. That's why we are here today. So we shouldn't be comparing them with ordinary person who has desires, because he was following the orders actually. But then we can see the example of material world, like how material world is, how it can just catch us and entangle us, and so many years can just pass away in enjoyment. Yeah, so very powerful devotee. That's why he's in the cantos of Bhagavatam as like Krishna's body.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Mataji. Very nicely explained. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Thank you, Vatsala Mataji. Thank you for joining. Okay, if there's no other questions or reflections, then we will finish today's session. Please go through the translations of the chapter and the purports. It will only take you maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour maybe, but it's worth a read the whole chapter and purports. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
अनंत कोटि
कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
श्रील प्रभुपाद की
जय। श्रीमद्
Hare
भागवतम
Krishna.
की जय। Thank you, Mataji. Lovely class. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Mataji. Lovely class. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna,
Thank you,
everyone.
Mataji. Thank you for joining. Thank you.